Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany Haynes, and I am the Director of Homebuyer and Community Engagement. I will also like to take the time to introduce my colleagues on the line, as well as our realtor and, well, the realtors that we work with, the realtor that we work with, and lenders who are on the line. Laura, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Let me show my face here. My name is Flora Valdez-Stepena. I am the communications and administrative manager for Maggie Walker. So I'll handle all of our, website, social media, email, YouTube, all of that stuff, including the Zoom account. So that is why I am here. I'm also just a good person to ask if you have any general questions. And my contact info will be there at the end of the presentation, along with everyone else. So good to see you all.
Thank you, Flora. Elizabeth, I see you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Munyon, and I am the AmeriCorps Vista with the CLT. And I work with home buyers and interested home buyers on the application process, getting you on our wait list and helping you with any questions or the process for buying.
Thank you, Elizabeth. All righty. Is Jen on the line and some of our lenders? Would you all like to introduce yourselves?
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is Jen Cox. I am the realtor that works with the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust Program. I list the homes that come through the program and also assist on the selling side sometimes in the transaction. I'm also a resource for any realtors or prospective buyers or prospective sellers that have questions about the process.
Thank you, Jen.
Hi, this is Viva Moore. I'm with Fulton Mortgage. I'm one of the mortgage lending partners, and definitely look forward to speaking with some of you, or hopefully all of you, throughout your homeownership journey.
Hi.
You.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Cynthia Taylor. I'm with Virginia Credit Union. I'm a mortgage lender, and I'm happy to help with any pre-qualification questions that you have, and also walking you through the process of home ownership.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Do we have anyone else on the line who needs to introduce themselves?
Hi, everybody. This is Mandy Moore with Southern Trust Mortgage, and I am going to be Tanya Irizarry's pass off, if you will. So I'm here for all of your needs and willing to help you guys. And hey, Viva and Cynthia, I don't know if you remember me. Hi, guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for introducing yourself. Anyone else? I think that was the last person, but all righty. Okay. Thanks, everyone, for introducing themselves. I'm going to go ahead and go into our program orientation presentation. All right. So these are two resources available to you regardless of whether you work with the land trust, our land trust, or not. So Commonwealth Catholic Charities, they offer free one-on-one credit counseling services, and then the Housing Resource Line can connect you with a number of additional resources related to housing. So here, I'm going to go over a brief overview of our agenda for today. So we're first going to talk about what is a CLT. Then we're going to cover some of our program details and then go into some of the application process. So next, I want to go into our survey. So we shared a little bit about who we are and our roles in this space. And so we want to open the floor for you all to introduce yourselves. Flora is going to start a survey, a poll, and you all can fill it out. Should take less than a minute. Alrighty. Flora, is that poll done? All right. So right now it looks like we have a 57%, so almost 60% of you are interested in purchasing a home. And then we have 43% who is involved with affordable housing, and then 29% other. Did anyone want to share what the other was? I'm interested in knowing what that was.
Feel free to unmute yourselves if you'd like to share.
That might have been me, Tiffany.
Okay. Thank you. It's okay. I'm glad to see your face today. All right, so now we're going to go into a few questions that I want you guys to reflect on. You can answer in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and say it out loud, whichever you prefer. So the first question is, what excites you about home ownership? And as it comes into the chat, I can read the chat, or you guys can unmute yourselves. What excites you about home ownership? No, don't be scared now. All right. So Timothy wrote in the chat, the thought of having something to raise my family in. We don't have to worry about rent going up and etc. Did Flora or Elizabeth want to read the chat out loud? No pressure.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
So Kiara, I think, said, I'm excited to have my own safe haven for my child and something that we can call our own home. And Tamika said, having a permanent home for myself and my child. So a lot of people very interested in starting a family home and having a home for their family, and maybe something that they can give their children one day. And I think that's really sweet.
Thank you. All right. Is that everyone? All right. And if you're having any trouble with like audio or your ability to hear or speak, you may want to log out of the Zoom and then come back in, and that may help resolve the issue if anyone's having that problem. And then we have another one that says, my answer is I want to leave my grandkids a home, which is definitely possible with our program. You can definitely do that. And we'll talk more about that later on in the presentation. Okay, so the next question is, what makes you nervous or afraid about the homeownership process? Or homeownership? What makes you apprehensive?
So Timothy says the economy and the future housing market. That's definitely a concern for most homeowners. CLT is a little bit special for some reasons we'll get into.
Thank you, Flora. No one else wants to share? No fears? Y'all coming in fearless tonight?
Repairs, someone says. Yeah. Definitely having to fix your own home is a concern.
And you'll definitely find an affordable home in our program. I know the market's a little crazy right now, but our program, one of the main goals is to create affordable home ownership opportunities. So that shouldn't, if that's what you're looking for, this is definitely a program to explore. All righty. All right, so I'm gonna get into Maggie Walker. So Maggie Walker was the first Black woman to establish a bank and the first woman to serve as the president of the bank in the United States. She was also a community and business leader in Richmond, and then she also worked to create and manage the St. Penny Luke Savings Bank, which left a powerful legacy in the Black community in the region. So the bank was an effort to utilize African-American financial resources for the good of the community, providing fairly priced loans and mortgages to Black families and empowering them to own homes, open businesses, and also create economic opportunities for themselves and future generations. So the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust is named to honor that visionary leader and her legacy in the region. And in her name, we work to ensure that communities of the Richmond and metropolitan region are diverse and inclusive with safe, attractive, affordable, and sustainable housing choices for everyone. So you probably know about the Maggie Walker Community Land Trust through our work with permanently affordable housing or homeownership, which we will be talking more about tonight. But we also operate a Richmond land bank, which puts vacant property into strategic community uses. The Citizens Advisory Panel makes the decisions about the land bank. And then you can participate in those meetings if you would like, and you can find out more by accessing the richmondlandbank.com website. And Flora or Elizabeth will drop that in the chat for you all to be able to access. Thank you, Flora.
And really quick, I just want to plug, we do have a public meeting of the Land Bank Citizen Advisory Panel tomorrow evening. So if you're interested in that, check out the website.
Thank you, Flora. Alrighty. And I believe that Elizabeth also does some work with that. So if you have any questions between Elizabeth, Flora, or Julia, who's another staff of ours, who works with us, they will be able to answer your questions about the land bank. So, what do you know about a community land trust? All right. So, as you see here on the slide, community land trust is a new way to help families afford homeownership now and in the future. A community land trust reduces the cost of homeownership, but then also keeps the home affordable for future buyers. And we'll explain more about that later on in the presentation. So this is a map of the community land trusts across the country. There are over 350 of them. The first CLT was in Albany, Georgia, and it evolved out of the civil rights movement. Black citizens who were sharecroppers were getting kicked out of their homes if they exercised their rights to vote and their white landlord found out. So Black activists bought a large farm, and the intention of the farm was to farm the land together, while everyone would be able to own their own homes and have their own community essentially. Alrighty. So here is our resale. We're going to talk a little bit more about like the resale of your property from your initial purchase. So when you buy a home on the conventional market, you're purchasing the house and implicitly the land beneath it. Now with the CLT home, you purchase the house, but the land remains in the trust. Now you do lease the land and you use it in the same way as anyone else would. And when it's time to sell your home, you'll also sell your house. The land is never sold, and the next buyer will need to meet the income requirements, and they'll be able to purchase the home from you at an affordable price. So they agree to the same sort of resale structure when they sell, and that is how the home is sold from buyer to buyer, as long as the home exists. So we're going to talk a little bit more about like the land use and all of that, because I know that sometimes can make people a little apprehensive, but trust, you can use the land as you would if you were to own it beneath you. Now, what are some of the benefits or ins and outs of owning a CLT home? Okay, so CLTs benefit the homeowner in several ways. They are some of the most affordable homes you'll find in the Richmond area. So by affordable, we mean that they are ready to move in. You don't have to fix them up. And all of the homes have either been recently rehabbed or newly constructed. Now, the CLT allows the homeowner to build wealth over time through their monthly mortgage payment and the way that these homes increase in value. So instead of the market, they actually increase in value with wages. So support and assistance is also available for the homeowner. And all of the other benefits to becoming a homeowner is included in that. So that would include price, stability, a quality home, and a space for you and your family. All righty. So CLTs also benefit the community by improving the availability of quality, affordable homes. Most of our homes have been built on formerly vacant lots. And our older homes have been rehabbed. But the main advantage for the community is that no matter how expensive a neighborhood gets, there will always be homes that are affordable for people making low to moderate incomes. And it will help keep our neighborhoods diverse and vibrant. So as y'all know, like right now, a lot of the homes on the market are going up. But with our homes, they go up based on the wages of the people living in those communities. So those homes will always remain affordable for the next home buyer, but you'll still be able to accrue some form of wealth while you are in the home, and still be able to enjoy your home and every additional thing that comes with being a homeowner. So now we're going to go into who might want to buy a CLT home. We're going to talk a little bit about the income requirements. So here is these are our income limits, and it's based on the number of people who will be living in the home at the time of the purchase of the home. There are two income limits, and this is based on funding and varies from house to house. So we have the 80% area median income, and then we have the 115% area median income. Now you cannot make more than this to be eligible to purchase a home in our program. So you can't make more than the 115% area median income. Now, as far as the area median income, HUD actually determines this number each year. So for example, if you have a house of 2 people and the house you want to purchase has an 80% area median income limit, you cannot make more than $57,600 in order to qualify for the home. And then as you can see, this chart goes up all the way to 8 people actually. All righty. Now I'm actually going to, Jen, are you still on the line? Jen Cox is still on the line. Huh. Okay. I think Jen might have had to hop off. Okay, so this is a simple map of where the MWCLT homes currently are. As you can see, we have homes in, majority of our homes in Randolph. Then we have homes Church Hill, Highland Springs, Northside, and Chesterfield. We also have a lease to own program, and those homes are in the Church Hill area. I was actually going to ask Jen to give a little landscape about the homes that are in those communities so that you can you could understand like what type of homes are in those areas. But I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide. All right. So how does our program work? So our program currently operates off of our land lease. And most of our program is shaped by that ground lease. So we're going to go over some of those basics. So the ground lease is a 99-year lease. And that's intended to go beyond the life of you and probably that of your children. It's fully inheritable and it can be passed down to anyone via your will or heirs by state law. And just a little plug-in, we do actually offer wills for our home buyers during the closing process, and it's free of charge for all of our home buyers in our program. So if you choose, if your heirs do choose to live in the home as their full-time residents, they will either continue on the current ground lease or they may have the option to start a new ground lease. If your heirs don't want to live in the house, they can sell the home and they'd get the same proceeds as you would had you been able to sell your home. And the ground lease fee is $100 a year. And it will be directly invoiced from MWCLT 4 times a year. This isn't a part of your escrow. You can either pay the lease in one chunk of that $100, or you can do it in quarterly installments, which is $25 every 3 months. And the board of directors can raise that ground lease fee any year ending in 0 or 5. So the next year that they could potentially raise that will be 2025, since we have already passed 2020. And they did not increase that cost during that time. But if they were to, they could in 2025. And they are only allowed to increase it at the same rate as the increase in the consumer price index. So it can never exceed $250 a year. So regardless of anything, it can never exceed that $250 threshold. Now, this is a great time to put in a plug about our board of directors. So the trust, our land trust, is ran by a board of directors. And our board of directors is composed of 1/3 homeowners, 1/3 public members, and then 1/3 community members. So if you are considered an MWCLT homeownership, if you're considering our homeownership program, I hope that you'll also consider joining our board or one of the committees that advises the board in making their decisions. And then also, as Flora mentioned before, you can engage in our CAT meeting, in the CAT meetings that we are a part of, and other spaces. Like coming up, we have actually a Black History Month event coming up on the 17th. And you'll be able to engage in that way, whether you're in the program or not, you can engage in that conversation to be a part of our community engagement, then also like influence some changes in our program, or just get feedback from the community and really learn more about our program. All right. So these click things, I always go slow. All right. So what's special about CLT homeownership? So one is it does have to be your primary, like your primary residence. So for example, if you met someone, significant other, and decided to move in with them, you would need to sell your home so that it's an opportunity for another homeowner or home buyer to be able to access affordable home ownership. Now, you can't turn it into an investment property and rent it out simply because the program is to be able to provide affordability for people. And we, there's other things outside of that would kind of like defeat the purpose of our program. Now, there are exceptions to that rule. So if you're taking care of a family member, or like, let's say your mom gets sick, you have to move in with her for a little while to take care of her. That would be like an exception that would be made to that rule. And there's also like other exceptions that are made on a case-by-case basis. So some examples, another example would include like a military deployment that would require you to also be out of your home for extended periods of time. So the next thing is renovations. So with the renovations, they do have to be approved by our board, but it's only so that we can ensure that the home is safe for the next person who purchases the home, and then so that the home can remain usable for not only you, but the next person who owns the home as well. So an example of something that may not be appropriate would be installing a bowling alley in your home because you like bowling. The next home buyer may not be able to use that, and then it also may alter the cost of the actual home, which could take away from that affordability of the home for the next buyer. But with that being said, they do need to be approved by the board. Anything that would typically require you to get some sort of permit from your local jurisdiction. So that would be like taking down a wall or putting on a deck. Those are some examples of some things that would require a permit. So it's not like things that we just feel like is not great. It's more so just wanted to make sure that things are done well and it remains safe. You will be able to, you are able to do things like put up a fence, paint your walls, change your hardware fixtures, change your hardware or light fixtures, or all of those other things. It's just literally anything that requires a permit. All right, so the next thing is you will build equity. So you'll build equity from your down payment, your monthly mortgage payment, and your home's increase in value, which is based on wages instead of the market. So we'll go through an example of that in a little bit. Always gotta catch up. All right. So this is actually like this is actually one of our homes in the Highland Springs area. This home has 3 bedrooms and it has 2 bathrooms. And it was built by Project Homes. And as you can see, it's a beautiful home. And it's real life. All righty. So I'm actually going to pause for any questions before I move forward. It's really quiet. And I would love to hear if you guys have any questions. As far as the information we've already went over.
Feel free to unmute yourselves or say in the chat if you have questions.
Okay, I missed a few things because my computer was going to give me double audio, but that was me that spoke about having something to leave for my grandchildren. And then I hear about the community land trust. Your whole program is community land trust, right?
Yes.
And
we have the community land trust, and we also have a land bank. Now, this presentation is more so about our land trust and the homes and our programs, and then we'll go into our Lisa home.
Yeah, but you all will be able to help me walk through whichever one's best for me, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's my only question. When I'm on board, regardless of what, I just want to make sure. Yeah, that's my only question. I'm good. Now I'm gonna mute myself and listen.
Thank you. Is it Kevin or Kelvin? Because I've heard both.
Kelvin.
Kelvin, okay.
So Kiara had a question in the chat. How will potential buyers be able to find out about new homes?
Elizabeth, did you want to answer that? Not putting you on spot, but
Sure, I can go ahead and try to answer that. So once you are approved and you have all of your application filled, you go on to our list of folks that have complete applications. And we call it kind of a wait list, but it doesn't really operate in the same way as you would think, where the person who's on the wait list the longest would get the home. It's more just a list of people with complete applications. And then when we have a home that goes into our process for showing, you'll get an email from us and we'll list information. It'll have photographs. And I'm not sure if we always have open houses. Tiffany, do you know about that? How to view the homes?
Yes, I can speak to that, Elizabeth. This is Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Yes, we do. Hey, how you doing, Elizabeth? Yes, we do hold open houses to the applicants that are on the wait list. So we give them the opportunity to come and take a look and see if they want to put in an offer on the home. If not, then we will list it in the MLS, which is the multiple listing service. Yes.
Oh, awesome. Does that answer your question? Hi, let's see. There's a follow-up question. Do we need to do home inspections and things like that, like normal housing process? Jen, can you walk us through that process?
Yes, a home inspection is required, especially if you're going to be receiving down payment assistance from Housing Opportunities Made Equal or one of our other partners like Southside Community Center. So yes, an inspection will be scheduled.
Cool.
Jamaica?
Jamaica. Okay. All right. Is there a list out other than the income requirements is there another list of requirements such as credit score and all of that? Is that a part of the application to let you know what those requirements are? Do you all have that available where we could see it before we even do the application? And once you do the application, is there a hard pull on your credit?
So I'm gonna actually create room for, I think this is a great space for our lenders and realtor, and maybe even Elizabeth, if you have an answer for that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Flora sent a link in the chat to our application. We do require just a pre-approval letter from one of our approved lenders, and we ourselves don't look at credit, but I'll hand it over to one of our lenders who can talk about what they look for in reviewing someone for a loan.
And before that happens, we do have, as we mentioned before, being able to meet those income requirements, so you can't exceed that. We have not at this point established a minimum income. However, when you're trying to get your pre-approval, there may be requirements on that end that isn't necessarily program requirements, but may impact your ability to get pre-approved. So.
Hi, this is Cynthia, Virginia Credit Union. Yeah, so during the pre-qualification process, we will take a look at your credit score. Usually the minimum is about 640. And we do take a look at your income, make sure that your debt to income ratio is good, make sure that you're under that 80% median income piece of it. It is a hard pull on your credit report because we do have to have your credit report to determine where you are as far as debt to income ratio and what you can qualify for as far as the maximum sales price. But, you know, myself and the other lenders that are on the call, we would definitely walk you through the process, definitely tell you all the things that would happen during that process of pre-qualification and what documents we would expect to receive in order to pretty much get you pre-qualified. So it's pretty standard for each lender. I know that each bank has different parameters when it comes to qualifications, but usually the minimum credit score is at least 640, and we do a credit inquiry to determine where you are as far as the maximum sales price that you would qualify for. I'm going to pass this over to Viva as well. I know that she has some other information concerning how they pre-qualify, but we're all in this together, and we definitely want to see you all the way through to closing and purchasing your first home.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Pretty much everything that Cynthia said verbatim, with the exception of Fulton does offer a program that has a credit score starting at 620, and each lender might have different tweaks and different things that they're looking for in your application. But the bottom line is everything that Cynthia has already explained. We're looking for the individual's ability to qualify for that mortgage, pay the mortgage successfully based on historical credit data that appears in the credit report. Income is definitely a factor. So I believe this may have already been mentioned, but as you're gathering documents for Maggie Walker Community Land Trust, it's a good idea to save that information in the event, one, that you apply with more than one lender, but also as you're applying with Maggie Walker Community Land Trust or one of the nonprofit agencies such as Housing Opportunities Made Equal or Southside Community Development and Housing Corporation, we're all using the same basic information.
So is there like a counselor or someone that you could probably speak to before the hard pull to just explain your situation and show them before you even get to the lender? Is there someone that we would talk to beforehand?
Absolutely. Tiffany had some information shared in the program a little earlier, but Commonwealth Catholic Charities, Housing Opportunities Made Equal, Southside Community Development and Housing Corporation, all of these different nonprofit agencies offer housing counseling. And that is something that the individual does not have to wait until after starting a loan application. It's oftentimes a better idea for a lot of folks to go through that first. So that is highly, highly encouraged. But more often than not, by the time we as lenders start talking to someone, they're pretty much ready to apply rather than go through a housing counselor.
Yeah, because I don't want to do it and get those hard pulls without being ready. So those types, because I've been working with Southside before. So it's best to just reach out to those housing counselors so they can see where I am before I even get to you, to the lender. Okay.
Yeah, I think if you already have contacts, that would be great to keep getting advice from them. I also in the chat just put a link to the Commonwealth Catholic Charities and then the housing resource line. And then those folks are awesome. It's really common for us to have people that are really interested, but then their credit score is not right there. And then we have like we will guide you into a counseling and like look through your goals and make sure that you're on the right track for maybe if like not this year, in a year or two, and work closely with our resources that we have available.
Yeah, I got a message. Timothy asked if they'd be able to meet with Cynthia to help get their credit score up to 640. And I think that the Commonwealth Catholic Charities credit counseling is a really good resource for you, Timothy. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, and it's definitely, this is Cynthia, it's definitely a good resource as well, and we work with, of course, Catholic Charities. Also, Virginia Credit Union, we have a program that's called Balance, and we partner with them to help with credit counseling and getting your scores where they need to be in order to, have, to purchase your first home. One of the other things would be, if I'm working with someone and I don't see that their credit score is where it needs to be to where we can qualify you at that time, I give homework, and I can do a credit simulation to say, okay, this is based on your credit, your actual credit right now. If you do A, B, and C, this is what your score will go to. And a lot of times, if a person is really dedicated to purchasing their first home, they do their homework. I had a person today, they didn't have a minimum credit score, told them exactly what they needed to do. They did it, and now their score is high enough to where they would qualify. So your loan officer can go through a credit simulation, give you real-time actual things that you can do with your credit score, as far as what's on there, what's reporting, how to correct those things, and then, look at pre-qualifying at a later time. It may be delayed, but not denied. So if you are working with a lender that has your best interest in mind, and it's going to walk you through that process to get to the point where you are then qualified. It's just a matter of the work that you're willing to put in, and trusting your loan officer to walk you through that process to get to the bottom line and get to the point where you get those keys to your new home.
Where would I find that information? For Balance for Virginia Credit Union? I've been with the credit union for 27 years. I've never heard of it.
And I don't like hearing that. It just depends on, who you're talking with or what have you. But there is some information I can send over to you as far as Balance. And like I said, we have partnered with them to help some of our members that are looking to qualify for certain loans, whether it be mortgages, personal loans, what have you, to get their credit in order. And we pay that fee, and you will get linked up with a credit counselor that will give you information and ways to do that. But the biggest thing is going to be what? Sure. Yeah. And once you get that information,
all of our lenders and Jen, the realtor on the line, as well as like Elizabeth, our stuff will be on the screen, but then they can also drop their information in the chat so that you guys can connect afterwards. And then also, just as a reminder, I do want to kind of like not go too much in the weeds of your personal information, because it is a recorded like a live stream info session, and I don't want other people to be able to have access to your personal information. But you can definitely like connect with our lenders. Elizabeth dropped the link. Cynthia just dropped her email, and you guys can connect.
Yeah, I did put a link in the chat that links to the contact information for all of our lenders. So go ahead and follow that.
Thank you so much, Laura. Jen
We
just
have
dropped.
one more question from Kiara. I think I'll hand it over to Jen Cox. The question is, if someone's already working with a realtor, is there anything that they would need to do to keep them involved with the process?
Okay, hi Kiara. Your realtor is welcome to reach out to myself or anyone else on the team. But no, just make sure you keep your realtor in the loop, that you're going through the process of completing the application if you have not already done so, to get on the waiting list. And as Elizabeth mentioned earlier in the call, once properties become available, we will send out communication to everyone who has a completed application on file, and let you know when we're planning an open house. And we welcome you and your realtor to stop by and take a look. And again, I'll be available to answer questions if you do decide to move forward with an offer on one of our properties.
And once the homes become available, if there's ever a case where there's more than one person interested in a home, that's the only time that we'll resort to our prioritization checklist, where it's like a point system to determine who would be prioritized for the purchase of that home. And that, I think Elizabeth can talk more about that a little later. And if we have any other questions in the chat, I do want to move forward into the next piece so that I'm not holding everyone past time. And then we'll also have another check-in for questions. So don't feel like you won't be able to. And you can also reach out to me, Elizabeth. Flora can answer some questions. And then we also have the contact for our realtor and lenders on the line. Thank you guys so much. You guys are so helpful. And I love this full transparency and all of the details that you guys are giving everyone. All right, so now we're going to go into the difference between renting versus owning your own home. All right, so as you already know, when you rent your home, you don't keep any of your rent payments. And when you move to another home, you have to start all over. So this is a chart. This chart is simply your monthly rent payment multiplied by 12 months in a year, and multiplied by the number of years you're in your home. So for the purpose of our example, we're going to look at paying $825 a month in rent. And after about 5 years, you have spent $49,500 in rent alone. So you spent almost $50,000 and you don't get any of that back. Now, with home ownership, you'll keep all of the equity you earn by paying that loan principal with your monthly mortgage payments. So this is actually an amortization schedule. So if you like numbers, you can Google amortization calculator and put in your interest rate, the amount of your loan, and the number of years. And then you can see how this plays out with different scenarios. So for the purposes of this example, we're going to look at a home purchased on January 1st of 2019. This person purchased a home for $145,000. And then they put down a 3% down payment. Now we choose this example because your monthly payment would be about the same as that $825 per month in rent. So notice that after the first year, the total you pay to the bank for your loan doesn't change. You pay the same amount every year. And what does change is what goes into principal and what goes into your interest as well. As you pay down your principal, which is the amount you borrowed from the bank, things start to shift. So that more money starts to go into principal and less into interest. So can any of our lenders tell me what would happen if the person put any extra payments a year towards their principal?
Hi, this is Viva. In essence, the loan is paid off faster for a 30-year mortgage. It cuts the mortgage by roughly 7 years, and it saves money over a period of time if done consistently.
All right. Now, as you know, like as we just mentioned, it would also start to shift the balance between what is going into interest and what is going into your principal sooner. So you're not only paying it off sooner, you're shifting how much, like paying off the actual principal sooner. So for the purpose of this example, though we aren't assuming any extra payments, this person is just paying their mortgage on time and just the amount due. So after 5 years, they have accrued $16,225 of equity just from paying their mortgage on time. I'm so sorry. So just from paying their mortgage on time. And after 5 years, they accrued that $16,225 in equity. But then after that, if the buyer were to sell at this point, they would have that $16,255 of equity that they have paid into the house. And instead of paying rent plus the increase in the value of the house, instead of paying the rent, and then in addition to that, they'll have the increase of the value of the home. So let me run that back. They'll have that $16,255 they paid into their principal. Then, in addition to that, they will have any increase in the value of the home, which is increased based on the area median income, which is the income in the area. And then, in addition to that, instead of like paying that almost $50,000 for renting, you would have earned all of that back. So, all right. So for those of you who like numbers, who don't like numbers as much and prefer like a graphic representation of all of this, I'm going to show you how the mortgage works with this blue bar. All right, so the blue box represents what you are paying to the bank each year for your loan. And it's the same concept for your monthly mortgage payment, just a smaller number. So in year 2, most of your money is going into interest with about a fourth going towards your principal. Now, here, you see that representation. So at first you're paying more in interest, less in principal. Now here, in 15 years, you are paying the same amount over the course of the year, but now about half is going into your principal and half into your interest. So you see here how the numbers have shifted in payments as time goes on. Now, by year 25, assuming that you still have a mortgage and you didn't make any additional payments, most of your money is going to be going towards your principal. And then this concept holds true for most mortgages, but not just mortgages for the CLT home. But as you get closer to the end of your term, you'll see that most of it goes into your principal and you're paying a smaller portion of interest. Now, if you make sooner payment, like if you make overpayments, then you can knock time off of your mortgage and some of that and save money, correct, Viva?
Exactly. 7 years worth of interest is a lot of money.
Right. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot because I know this is like kind of on the spot. Do you know about how much, like with these numbers, about how much a person would possibly save if they were to make one early payment?
Oh, Tiffany, that is a great question. I do not have access to my amortization calculator to try to figure that out for you right at the moment, but 7 years worth of interest is a pretty significant amount. The amount of savings, of course, is going to depend on the amount financed
Thank
and the
you.
interest rate.
Thank you. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Viva.
No, no problem at all. We'll have it for next time.
Thank you. All righty. So far, we've only been talking about the money that you borrowed from the bank. Now, another part of your monthly mortgage payment is also called the escrow. And as a homeowner, you also have to pay for insurance and taxes. So usually these are due every 6 months and they can be a pretty large sum. So the bank wants you to make sure that you pay both your taxes and your insurance. And because if not, because if you don't, you could lose your house. So instead of making your payments in twice a year in a big lump sum, they divided up those payments into an amount you can pay monthly. So that also becomes a part of your monthly mortgage payment, and it goes into an escrow account. So then the bank uses your escrow account to pay the insurance company and the city or county where you live. Now, this green box is your escrow. While what you are paying to the bank for your loan doesn't change, your insurance and taxes can fluctuate. So this is what can make up your monthly payment. It can make it go up or down from year to year. But it won't fluctuate as much as your rent would over the same time period, generally speaking. So you still will save money in homeownership rather than paying rent during that same amount of time. Okay, so this is actually one of our first MWCLT homes in the Churchill area. It has 3 bedrooms and 2.5 baths and a double veranda on the back. Jen, do we know how much this home was sold for?
Yes, I do believe it sold for $230,000, but let me check and I can confirm. But no, it was a great price point, of course, in the Churchill area, and then attached in our program, it sold for a really great deal. So give me just a second and I can confirm the price. I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you so much, Jen.
You're welcome.
I will say as a disclaimer that that one is one of our more expensive homes because it's the first one. It's also really big and has a lot of features. Are there any questions?
And I do have it sold for $227,500.
Which, if you know the prices in that area right now, is really, really good.
Yes.
Jen, do you know on average, like what's the cost of the homes in that area, just to kind of show a reflection of like what we mean by maintaining affordability?
I believe $350 and up, trending in the 400,000 price point the last time I checked.
Yeah, I used to, I lived in Oakwood for a time and would walk down the street and see homes selling and check the prices, and they would be 400, even up to 500,000.
Exactly.
It was crazy.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so Kiara did drop a question in the chat. Do we have to bid if others want the same home? So Kiara, as I mentioned earlier, we do have like a prioritization checklist or point system, but I'm gonna let Elizabeth go, a little into that.
Yeah, so we do not bid like you would at a traditional situation where the highest bidder is the one who gets the home. We look at a variety of factors. Let's see. Flora, do you have the policy up by chance or easily accessible? I know it's on the website somewhere, but I'm
I'll grab it from the website really
like
quick.
it looks at
Like
You
one
can
of the things is, are you a single parent household?
the head of household, if you've lived in public housing in the past, if you have any accessibility needs that only that home can provide, the number of bedrooms to the number of people in the family. And that's all I'm remembering right now. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
We look at that in relation to the other applicants that have placed or expressed interest on the home, and then you'll be against each other in that way.
You'll be evaluated on who
Evaluated,
would be
yeah, sorry.
prioritized. It's okay.
Brain
I
fog.
think you you explained it well. And I appreciate you doing that, Elizabeth. I think the goal is really to just make sure that we're incorporating equity in our program. And because it's our program prides ourselves on affordability and increasing that access to low to medium income populations, then we don't want to have a system that prioritizes like who has the most money, because that also reinforces what we're trying to stay away from. And yeah, so I hope that answered your question, Kira.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Mhm. Did we have any more questions before I move on?
Hi, I had a question. It's not pertaining to like this right here, but I'm from the Philadelphia area and looking to move to Richmond. So would I be able to be in the program or attend? Like, once I move down there, like if I'm renting a home?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
don't
listen,
see why not. We definitely, I've only been working here since November, so I've only been working with applicants that have been renting in or staying with family in the Richmond area, but I don't see why you wouldn't be able to. Tiffany,
right.
Laura, do you know?
Right now, I don't believe that's a requirement of our program, but I'm not sure what like the other programs like home with their down payment assistance program or those things require for people to be able to access those additional funds.
Yeah, I don't think it's a requirement for any particular programs that I'm thinking of right now. So you don't have to live in Richmond for any particular amount of time to qualify for a program. Although there is a part of the buyer prioritization policy, I think, is there is a point given to people who were students of the Richmond public school system, I believe, or something like that. But that only applies, like we said, if more than one person wants one of the homes.
And that one point may not be the end all be all. So just remembering that. And like, let's say you do bid and not bid, Lord have mercy. Let's say you do have to go through that like prioritization process. If the other person gets the home, you're still eligible to remain in our program and remain on like our completed applications list. So the next home that becomes available, you're able to do the same thing. Like more recently, we actually sold 2 homes in the East End area, and they were, I believe, $160,000, 3-bedroom homes. I believe it was 2 baths, but Jen can correct me. And one of our homes, the buyer did not have to go through that process. So one of our homes, the buyer didn't have to go through that process, but the other home, there was more than one person interested. So we did have to go through that prioritization process. And the other person just went back on our applications list. And we're
Thank you.
also, oh, no problem. And we're also like constantly looking at ways to improve that process. so that we are truly like emphasizing equity and making sure that the whole goal of that prioritization is being achieved with that. So we're actually currently reviewing that to make sure that it's equitable. But as it stands, the list or that Flora shared, the link that Flora shared in the chat is where you'd be able to access what that is. Does anyone else have questions? If not, I can move forward and we'll have more space for questions if you wanted to wait as well. Don't be scared, y'all. All right. So, okay. All right. Taxes, taxes. It's tax season now. But all right, so for the taxes, you are responsible for your taxes as any home buyer would be, but not on the land. So you'll just be paying taxes on the actual home. And taxes are deductible if you itemize your tax returns, but you also may want to seek professional tax advice from a certified tax expert so that you can get more accurate information around that. So the next thing is with maintenance, like with any homeowner, you are also responsible for the maintenance on your land. I mean, not your land, on your home, the maintenance on your home, I apologize. And any of the necessary upkeep with that. So that would include fixing any broken appliances. If you have a leaky roof, having that repaired, or a broken window, like things like that. All right, so now we're gonna go into what happens when you sell your home. It's time for the money, money, money. Okay, I'm very like, a lot of character, so I'm gonna be a little extra. Hopefully that'll brighten up your evening a little bit. All right,
does.
so, I'm sorry.
I said it does.
Thank you. All right.
We love you, Tiffany.
Thank you. All right, so as far as when you sell your home, so this is where you'll want to pay close attention because there are going to be some thorough examples of the resale formula so you can get a better understanding of what does it mean, you know, to what does that process all mean and look like. All right, so when you sell your home, you get your cash equity. You're entitled to get back your cash equity, which is your down payment. You're also entitled to get back your earned equity, which is the loan principal you pay off to by making your monthly mortgage payments. And then you're also entitled to your home's increase in value, which is based on the percentage increase in area median income. In the area incomes while you own your home. So you get back your cash equity, your earned equity, so your down payment, your earned equity, which is the loan principal payments. And then in addition to that, your home's increase in value, which is based on the area median income. Now, when you buy your house, okay, so right here, this is actually a real home that was sold in our Randolph neighborhood. So all of the images on our slideshow, our presentation, they're actual homes that was sold in our program. So just putting that out there. So any picture you see, just know that was us. All right. So this is a real home that was sold in the Randolph neighborhood. and the home was appraised for $215,000, but it was only sold for $145,000. So the home buyer borrowed less and also had lower monthly payments and a lower down payment that they would have had if they had purchased the home on the market. So when you go sell your home, we're going to start with the original sales price of $145,000. We calculate the increase in the area median income while you have owned your home. So the years this home was purchased, the AMI was $83,000. And when they go to sell their home, we estimated that new area median income would be around $90,200. And the average, which is an average increase, the AMI has an average increase of around 2% a year in the Richmond area. But in this scenario, over the 5 years, this person has lived in their home, the AMI increased by $7,000, which was about 8.41%. So we multiply your original sales price by the 8.41%, which is $12,200. And then the equity will be that $12,200 that your home has increased in value, plus any down payment. So your increase in value, which is the $12,200, plus the down payment you put in your home, plus any principal that you've paid through your mortgage payments. So though historically this has not been the case, if the AMI does decrease while you live in your home, you will be able to sell your home for what you purchased it for. So the plus of our program is will always remain affordable. You'll never lose money out of your investment, because the home's value will never decrease. Okay, so, all right. So as a reminder, this is the example of the amortization schedule that we went through earlier. The homeowner accrued $16,225 just by paying their monthly mortgage payment. In this example, after 5 years, they have $16,225 of earned income, of earned equity, plus that $12,200 from the increase in the value of their home. So the $16,000 of earned equity, the $12,000 in the increase in the value of the home, and that gives you a total of the $28,425 of equity. So I just rounded numbers. So yeah, and that total was the actual amount, the $28,425 total. I told y'all I'm a little slow with the clicking, but look, we'll get you through it. Okay, so over the same 5-year period, if a person was renting, they would have spent almost $50,000 in rent. So $49,500 to be exact. Now, instead, you have accrued that $28,425. So you gained almost 30 grand rather than losing 50. I think that's a plus. Now here's a visual representation of that for our visual learners. All right. Now we're going to talk about passing the gift on, but I do want to open it up for any questions.
The down payment is based on, is it the price of the home, or is there a set down payment?
The down payment is based on the price of the home, as with any home on the market. And then also, like, if you access like the down payment assistance programs through the other program, then that also reduces that cost, if not eliminates that.
That was my next question. Can you use programs to help you with the down payment?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
Did any of our lenders or Jen want to answer that question as well?
Hi, this is Viva. Yeah, I did want to chip something in. As you're working with the different lenders, make sure you ask the lender if they have any down payment assistance resources in-house. In addition to, if you are, as an individual, going to apply through outside nonprofits like Southside Community Development or Home. But generally, the down payment requirement, it's going to range right around 3% of the sales price. Each lender has different programs, so it may vary from lender to lender.
Yeah, and just this is Cynthia, and just to mirror off of what Viva said, you know, us as lenders, we're going to look for any type of down payment assistance or any type of grant programs that we can place, you know, to help you with those requirements. So in a perfect world, you know, we're looking at down payment assistance, we're looking at grant programs to help you, what have you, and we're going to stack those programs together. There's nothing that says we can't use home down payment assistance or grant money. There's nothing that says we can't use Virginia housing. So we're going to make sure that when we do your pre-qualification, we're going to see what programs you qualify for. And we're going to try to get all those monies for you to help you with down payment and closing costs. So, you know, I know that Viva, she's been in the business for a long time, as well as myself. And you're going to be definitely taken care of. And we're going to look out for your best interest. And we're going to make sure that all of those programs that you can qualify for, we're going to let you know.
All right, I was trying to unmute myself. I'm so sorry, guys. Thank you so much for sharing those answers. Okay, so passing the gift on, I think, Calvin, this section of the presentation, yeah, right up your alley. So the CLT model makes it possible to keep this home affordable for future families who may be in the same economic situation you are in right now. Again, we take that original sales price of $145,000, add on that $12,200 from the increase in the value of the home, and that home will resell for about $157,200 plus some fees. My presentation froze, so give me one moment, please. All right, let me share again. Actually, no. All right. Can y'all see that? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for being patient with me. All right. My presentation froze, but you know, technology, there's always a chance of something happening funky, but we're going to turn that funk into music. All right. So, all right. All right. So we were, why is it freezing again? Freezing. All right, great. Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so can you guys see that? I already done talked you through it, but I'm gonna talk again, okay?
We can see it.
Okay. So the CLT model makes it possible to keep this home affordable for future families who might be in the same economic situation you are in right now. So again, we take that original sales price of $145,000 and add on that $12,200 from the increase in the value of the home, and the home will resell for about $157,200 plus, whatever fees that come with that. And as you can see, we really pride ourselves on that affordability, so that, not only you can take advantage of that, but the next homeowner, which could very much be your children or someone else, who's interested in the program. All right. So this home is in Chesterfield. So it's in Chesterfield, and it was rehabbed and sold for around $133,000. Jen, can you share some of the specs or details of this home?
Of course. Yes, this was a total rehab. The CLT purchased his property and redid the kitchen, all new flooring, fresh paint throughout the house. It is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home, and it has one full bath. So cute little home, sits on a beautiful lot, and it went very fast, especially at that price point in Chesterfield.
Thank you so much, Jen. All right, so all right. So now we're gonna go into how to apply for the home. All right, so the lenders that we have available that works with CLT model is Fulton Mortgage, Town Bank Mortgage, Southern Trust, and Virginia Credit Union. Let me know if I'm forgetting someone. Shouldn't be, but yes. And as you guys have seen in the chat, our lenders, I believe, has dropped their contact information. I know Viva did, Cynthia did. A few of our lenders dropped their contact information in the chat. And this information is also available on our website. Flora can drop that in the chat if you have that available. Right. So with the application process, as mentioned on the previous slide, of who our lenders are, these are who would lend to our land trust, but on here, okay, the process would look like this. So you participate in this info session, check that off because you're here today. And then you submit your application with the following information. So we ask for 3 months of your most recent pay stubs or benefit statements. We ask for 2 most recent federal tax returns and matching W-2s or 1099s. We also ask for 6 months of bank statements. And this is just to verify income to make sure that you meet those income requirements, meaning you don't go over that income that we shared with you all earlier, the AMI chart, the area median income chart. And then we also, the next step would be to apply for a loan and then get pre-qualified. And do any of our lenders want to say if it would be best to get your pre-qualification before or after? Like, how should a person come to our program?
And this is Viva again. I think pretty much wherever the individual starts, it's always a good idea that if there's any kind of hesitance, it's always a good idea to start with the housing credit counseling. Great idea, because that's useful regardless of what you do. Engaging with the lender is a good point of contact as well, just to get started on the pre-qualification. However, if your heart is set specifically on owning a Maggie Walker Community Land Trust property, then the best starting point is going to be to contact Maggie Walker Community Land Trust directly to make sure that your income fits with the program requirements and that you have that conversation directly with Maggie Walker Community Land Trust, and then engage with your lender of choice. That would be my suggestion.
And this is Cynthia at Virginia Credit Union, and I agree with what Viva is saying concerning starting with Maggie Walker, getting all your documents in order, because we're going to request the same things, and just making sure that everything is vetted and making sure that you're within that median income. So yeah, exactly what Viva is saying. I think the best thing to do is start with Maggie Walker and meet those requirements as well.
Thank you so much, guys. Y'all always coming with saucy information. Calvin, did you have any questions? You look like you was ready. Okay. Don't blast us.
Hi, it's not so much a question. I'm going to try not to tell too much my business, because we don't want us to do that. But I have the credit score, but I'm just getting to a job where I feel like I can be able to pay this. But I've been approved for a home. Went through some foolishness with a realtor that I thought was my friend, but I should still be able to qualify for first timer. My only thing is, well, I hear down payment, I hear taxes, I hear a lot of things, and these are the reasons why I feel like me, even though I'm a single person, I want to make sure that I can qualify for something to get me into fair housing. And I want to be able to start with Maggie Walker or whatever program that they suggest, because I don't need some babysitting. I'm not trusting with this process, what after going through what I went through. So I'm gonna need some personalization, and so I just want to make sure that I do mine that way by going through the counseling first, so I can get the best situation for me and not get caught up in it, because I almost had the worst nightmare of my life dealing with homeownership back in August. So yeah.
And
that sounds like a good idea. I also wanted to point out one of the qualifications for being on our approved to get one of the Maggie Walker homes is to take the home buyer education course through either Virginia Housing or through Home, which is the Housing Opportunities Made Equal. And it's like a 6-hour course. You can either do it online or in person. But I'm taking that class myself right now, so I know what you all go through when applying, and there's a lot of information there, and you learn a lot about the mortgages, credit, what it takes to be home buyer ready. So that is a big step. And then also we have our credit counselor resources available as well. So there are people and resources there to help you along the way.
And to that, this is Cynthia as well. To speak to that, the biggest thing is to sometimes you just have to meet with your team, and you have to, talk about what you're trying to accomplish, and everyone is trying to accomplish home ownership. And nothing beats a face-to-face, and it may take you making an appointment with your lender, whoever you choose, and sitting down and explaining what's going on, and have them walk you through the process. I'm old school. I'm a big proponent of face-to-face when it comes to first-time home ownership, because it can be a very daunting experience. And you don't want to get caught in the pitfalls of a lot of things that are, going on when it comes to your realtor, when it comes to your lender, what have you. So you want to make sure that everyone is working for you at the end of the day and has your best interest in mind. And that's what it's all about. So you may have to make an appointment with your lender, and sit down and go through everything and have them walk you through the process so that you're confident in moving forward. And sometimes that's all it takes. So, that's just my little 2 cents. I know that Viva works the same way. And Viva, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but you want to, speak to that as well?
Yeah, thank you for so much, Cynthia. I appreciate you mentioning that. I mirror everything that you said. And the other thing too is just to stay realistic with the figures. The lenders are here to help, as well as the other partners that have been mentioned in the presentation. But there are going to be boundaries on what lenders can and can't do. So just keep that in mind, and we definitely will work with you to try to give you the best possible experience. You're working with a very experienced group that is here to help get you to the goal.
Y'all, look, great people. All righty, thank you, Eva and Cynthia, for sharing. All right, so after that pre-qualification and that home buyer education, you have now entered the application pool. So all that's required is you to keep on swimming and hanging on until a home becomes available. And as soon as those are available, as Elizabeth mentioned before, you will be notified. I think Elizabeth and Jen mentioned that you will be notified. All of our applicants will be notified of the available home. And then whoever's interested and meets the requirement will reach out, per the instructions in the email, and then we can move forward with what the next steps are. And more than once you do move forward, depending on how long you've been on the wait list, but even at the time, we'll also do another income verification to make sure. I'm so sorry, I have hiccups and heartburn. But to make sure that you still qualify for the program, because we also have to meet the requirements of our funders for the program. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes. Since I'm in Philadelphia, how could I get the information on getting a counselor and stuff like that, to to help me with my process and to start my process on getting my credit together and on my home owner journey?
The Maggie Walker Community Land Trust site actually is a great resource that has contacts. And then if you reach out to one of the lenders, we can point you in the right direction as well. Sorry, Tiffany.
No, you answered that perfectly. Thank you so much. And also, we will share a screen again with the information to Commonwealth Catholic Charities credit programs. So you can reach out to them for that as well, to assist you with getting where you need to be. Okay, so here are some additional tips. So you could register with Home for counseling services and access their down payment assistance program. And the link is on the slide, but Flora can also drop the link in the chat. You can also, I'm gonna go ahead and wonder if I can press the link and if you guys will see it. But I'm kind of scared it's gonna jack my presentation up. So I'm gonna just have Flora put the link in the chat and then you guys can check that out. But another thing is just keeping a personal file of your income documents to send to lenders or a financial counselor. Get income qualified with our land trust before applying for a loan pre-qualification with the lenders so that you don't get that hard pull on your credit. And then also stay connected with our staff as you go through the loan pre-qualification process so that we can, kind of figure out what's the best next steps, help you out if we can, and know where you are with your completion process. And then the last tip is don't wait. Come on and jump into it. So, yes. You got a question, Calvin? I can see your questions on your face, Calvin. I know when you're about to come for me.
No, like I said, I work my credit up, so I kind of like, right, I have my banking institution who would want to deal with me, but I've also been paying a high interest, paying them for things that got me there. So I'm not gonna say I'm loyal to them, but if I got all these things in place, but it looks like I make enough money, but I'm just getting into this, well, you all be because like I see as a minimum amount, I'm not saying I make the maximum amount, but what if I'm there before I'm finished with the program? Would that be a penalty or something? Like, say I get a substantial raise soon, and
so if I'm hearing your question correctly, based on what I'm hearing, you're asking if your income increases and exceeds that amount before you actually purchase a home, will that impact your eligibility for our homes? Is that what you're asking?
no, I'm sure I wouldn't do it before I purchase because I'm looking to purchase soon. But I'm
You
talking
mean
about
after?
Yes, ma'am.
After you purchase your home, that ain't got nothing to do with us. That's not our business. After. As far as before, just to make sure that you meet those requirements, yes, we want you to get a better paying job. We want you to make more money. We want you to do better. We're not trying to hold you back from progressing. It's literally just to meet the requirements so that people who actually do need our program can access that. So as long as you meet that before purchasing the home, then you're fine.
Well, that'll be my issue, is getting through all the paperwork, all that stuff, which I know I can do it, but it was a struggle getting to where I'm at, and I'm still not where I need to be, but I'm ready to do what I got to do. It's just not having the lump sum of money for most of these things has always been the issue. So yes, ma'am. Thank you for the answer.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, the chart that you shared, to my understanding, I see that first in the income chart. I'm sorry, let me clarify. I see that first section, it had just standard and minimum or maximum incomes. Then on the other side, it was a different number. Is that different number based on, like, you would be able to qualify for more of an expensive house? So say you had two people and you're over that 57,000. Then on the other side, you had like 83. Can you explain? You probably did, but I didn't understand. What's the difference between the two?
It's just a funding source. So like the 80% is most of like the federal or like state funding, like their requirement. The 115 are like different fund. It's just different funding sources and their eligibility and requirements for that. Like what they consider low income. But the 115 allows us to be able to support like the medium income people who are eligible for our program.
If I can give an example really quickly, some of our homes out in Highland Springs are in the 115% AMI program, but those are actually some of our most affordable homes. Some of the lowest prices we have are out in Highland Springs. So it really has nothing to do with the price or the size or anything. It just has to do with what kind of money we use to subsidize the home.
So as long as a person says it's a family of two, doesn't go over 83,000, then they still will meet the income guidelines for your program.
Yeah, that's correct. They would not qualify for the 80% homes, but they would qualify for the 115% homes.
And it's 82,800 to be exact, because if you make 83,000, you do not qualify. I'm sorry. I get what you were doing, but
Richmond Public Schools teacher. No, I don't. Thank you.
no, it's just that we can't round these numbers. Like, they are strict with their numbers. So I get you mean the 82,800, but I don't want anyone to come saying that you said that we can make 83,000 and still be okay. No, you cannot. Not unless they raise it.
And that also includes like any Uber Eats, any Lyft income.
And now you know they're monitoring like Cash App stuff, so you gotta probably be careful with that too.
That's in reference to having like a second job, a side hustle.
Yes, meaning if you're getting income in from your little hustle that you get Cash App from, because taxes are now requiring it, I'm sure there's gonna be additional, like monitoring of that stuff too. So when we ask,
you have to, I said you have to file that 1099. You have to file that.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's income.
Mm-hmm.
Any type of income, whether it's from a regular salaried or hourly job, or from a gig worker job like Lyft or Uber or DoorDash, or whether it's from like Social Security or disability payments or retirement, all of that counts as income.
Now
we look at your bank statements to determine and like ask you questions and figure out what your income is to determine all that.
even if what was the rule if you didn't do it for more than a year or two? That I remember there was a rule with a part-time job where because some people want them to count it because it helps their income, and then some don't. But you all still, they look at that period.
We look at all of your, we look at your income from the past 3 to 6 months, I think it is, and then your previous year's tax return, and then we estimate your annual income for this year, and that's what we use to qualify you.
Okay.
Did you have any more questions?
There was a
I have
question.
hiccups. Or did you want to read that?
Yeah, Tamika wanted to know if there are any 4-bedroom homes, and I believe there are. Let me look at my chart. Yeah, the 3 bedrooms is the usual, but there are some 4-bedroom homes, I think. Some bigger ones.
I do believe, Florida, that the 4-bedroom homes may be in the Randolph community, the little bungalows, Cape Cod style.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only
Yeah.
4-bedroom. Yeah, most of the recent homes we acquired are the 3-bedroom ranchers.
Yeah.
And never any townhouses because of the nature of the program.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, it's not like we can't do townhouses, but it would be a different arrangement. There are no townhouses in our program currently.
Do we have any more questions?
Yes. Are the 3 bedrooms, are they all ranch style, or do like some of them have upstairs? Because I'm, from the city, and we have mostly upstairs. Like we don't never really have like 1-floor houses here. And I was wondering, like, if some of the houses have like upstairs, or are they all just like 1-floor houses?
It depends on where they are, honestly. Some of the ones in the Randolph neighborhood here in Richmond have 2 levels. A lot of the ones out in the counties, out in Chesterfield and in Henrico, are ranch style. And then some of the ones we have in Church Hill are probably what you're thinking of, those like, you know, much skinnier 2 or 3 floor houses. It depends on where they are.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? I'm going to go into our all right, so I'm going to go into our, before I go into our lease to own program, I do want to go into the housing resources again, the Commonwealth Catholic Charities Credit Counseling, their email and contact information right there, as well as the housing resource line. Yes, Flora. And here is my information. Nikki, who is the home buyer and stewardship, the homeowner and stewardship director, director of home ownership and stewardship. Then Elizabeth, who is she serves as a great resource for you all, for all of the applicants. So please utilize that resource. Great person, great resource. Flora actually put up our little quiz. This isn't graded, nor will it reflect poorly on whether or not you're able to continue with our program. It's just a reflection of if we did a decent job at conveying the information. So
we'll also use this. So please fill out this quiz, because from this quiz, we'll take your email and then we'll know to send you the follow-up information, because this is basically our attendance for this event. So please answer the quiz to the best of your ability. Again, like Tiffany said, not graded. We're not going to keep your answers. It's just to help us know how well we did. And if it's not letting you submit, just make sure to scroll all the way down and answer all the questions first. I will be going over the answers also after we're done. Still waiting on a couple more people. Don't stress about this. If you don't know the answer, just select whichever one sounds right. Again, we won't be judging you about that. We're not gonna, no pressure here. Sorry for being quiet. I know that causes people to stress about it. It's not a test, so don't worry. Did you want to talk about the lease to own program really quickly while we're waiting for folks to finish the quiz?
Can you hear me? I was
Now I can.
Okay,
You're
so
muted.
well, I did want to go over the quiz results before we did that. Give me one moment, okay? I need to take a sip of something to drink, okay?
Anyone still working on the quiz? Like I said, we do need you to fill this out so that we can send you the follow-up materials.
Did everyone answer yet? I haven't answered yet for her, so if you have missing one.
No, you're fine. Yeah, we still, there's still about eight people who haven't answered. I don't know if that includes all of us. Hold on, let me do a quick count. 1, 2, 3.
I didn't answer the quiz.
4. That's fine, Elizabeth. Sorry, hold on.
Me, you, Elizabeth, Jen,
4, 5. Oh,
Cynthia.
Courtney's here. Hey, Courtney.
Yes. Courtney, you gonna take our quiz? Let us know how we did.
Quiz. I did take the quiz.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Cool.
shucks now.
Thanks, Courtney.
Yes.
Courtney is our fundraising director, just so everyone knows.
Hello,
She
everyone.
gets us the money. Gets us the money.
If you're stuck, just pick a random answer and move on. There's no pressure. You don't have to get anything right. If you're stuck, that means we didn't do a good enough job. That's all. No worries.
And our feelings won't be hurt. It'll just be motivation. So we good for
Hold on. Let me count again. 9. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It should be 6 of us.
Yeah.
Viva,
So one.
Cynthia.
So I think one more person.
Because if you don't fill it out, then it won't count as a credit as you completing the info session piece of our application process. And your application will not be complete if that isn't done.
I can't see. It's probably me because I can't see the quiz. It didn't come up.
Oh, okay. Can you just, if you can just put your email, send me an email, and I will make sure you get the follow-up information. Okay, so no worries.
Is that everyone?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Shauna, just send me an email with the address that's on your screen right now, and I will make sure you get the follow-up information. Right.
Okay.
Do you want me to go over the answers, or do you want to?
You can. If you want to, go ahead and do it. I know people are tired of hearing me talk.
No worries. Okay, so we got a few people who want to submit an application. That's very exciting. We're excited to be with you. True or false, MWCLT homes are fully inheritable. They can be passed down to your heirs regardless of income, as long as they will use the property as their primary residence. True, everyone got that right. Nice one. Question 3, what equity will you get back when you sell your MWCLT home? Your down payment, the loan principal you've paid off through monthly mortgage payments, your home's increase of value, or all of the above. This one was all of the above. You guys did really well on that. Thank you all. Number 4, how do MWCLT homes increase in value? Based on the market rate appraisal, based on the increase in the Richmond area median income, or they do not increase in value? And the answer here is based on the Richmond area median income. So the market rate appraisal is what causes the housing market to be so, to fluctuate so much, to be so, you know, up and down and crazy and make homes unaffordable. So we tie it to income instead to make sure that it is always affordable. So thank you guys.
You guys didn't do so bad. Good job. Okay. So now we're going to go into the home ownership bridge program. So the bridge program is essentially our lease to own program. It's designed to help participants get from renting to home ownership in about a year. So rent is $958 a month for that program. And about $500 of that goes into escrow for when you purchase your home. So only about half of your payment goes into escrow. Now you do get to work with a credit counselor from Commonwealth Catholic Charities while you're in that program to help get you to a place where you can enter our actual homeownership program. And then it also serves households who are making around 50% area median income. So it's lower income requirements there, a lower income threshold there. Now, for this program, your credit score does need to be around 600, and you should not be able to qualify for a conventional loan for our bridge, homeownership bridge program. The minimum household income is $38,320, and the maximum income is below the 50% area median income threshold. Right now, our traditional homeownership program does not have a minimum household threshold, income threshold. A minimum, doesn't have a minimum. In addition to that, we want you to be actively seeking homeownership opportunities. Like you, of course, you'd be actively seeking homeownership opportunities. And then you also have a desire to live in the city of Richmond, specifically the Church Hill area, which is where our homes are right now. The potential to be mortgage ready within 1 year. So that would be a requirement, is that you do, as far as those analysis, something that was it Cynthia was talking about, not those specifically, but if it's a possibility for you to be able to be mortgage ready within a year, then you would fit for our program.
Yes,
And that is it. Oh,
you're
go ahead.
correct. Yes, you're correct, Tiffany. Absolutely.
That is it. Does anyone have any more questions?
One quick question. Say you qualify for most of this, but not sure, like maximum household income below 50% of the AMI, but the rest of it, I think I would. Like, how do I go about that? Because I got
like meaning if your
Yeah.
income is
the
I can
credit score
answer
can't
that.
be higher. Does your credit score have to be 600? Can it be higher? I'm asking for this program. And like, what if you overqualify for some of the things, but you fit in the rest of them?
It sounds like you're ready to pre-qualify for actual mortgage.
Yeah, this program is intended for people who aren't quite ready to qualify for a mortgage yet. And also, I believe we don't currently have any spots open in this program, if I'm correct.
Right.
This was a
Right.
pilot program that was funded by the city of Richmond for only four households, and all 4 of those are have been taken. But we just do this so that people are aware that it's something that we're working on. We're trying to get more funding to do more of this kind of work in the future, and it's really helpful for people to know about it and be aware of it. But yeah, it does sound like that you'd be a fit for our regular CLT program.
Did anyone else have any more questions?
I just want to thank you all for this wealth of information. I've attended this session before, but for some reason I didn't get out of it, but I've gotten tonight, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamaica. Thank you guys. Thank you. No, thank you guys for showing up, being present, asking questions, and coming prepared. And if no one else has any questions, any other questions, I'm not gonna hold you all. We did go a little past, like 30 minutes past where we typically are, but that's not a bad thing. It's just we made space for questions, and you all were able to, you know, get what you needed out of it. So that's what I'm here for. No more.
Well, thank you all.
Your face count. Okay. I know you're about to count.
No, just saying thank you all. I have a million questions, but I'll save them for my counseling. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening.
Bye, y'all.